This may make me look bad, but I have to share this story with somebody. I had a Tinder profile, and on my Tinder, I will leave my Snapchat due to me giving massages, plus other stuff. I also had a boyfriend at the time of the story, but he didn't know that I had a Tinder or a Snapchat on day. I received a notification from Tinder that someone liked me. I checked the person out and he was attractive. He was also verified, so I knew that. He actually looked like his pictures. A match with him. I mentioned him first. Asking, does he have a Snapchat, he immediately replied, telling me yes. I told him to add me. He replied within seconds, telling me that he just added me. After that, I unmatched him on Tinder and added him back on Snapchat. I asked him where he was located. He told me where he was. It was actually very close to where I live. He then told me that I need to just get straight to the point. I like that because usually I have toast people how they're doing and what they like to do, small talk. So I told him that I'm a mass use, what I charge, and how much I charge for extra services. I told him that I take PayPal, gave him me PayPal info, then I received a notification within minutes. He paid me for my most expensive service. He then told me that now I have Tahar form. I told him to slow down and we should discuss this. He replied by telling me there's no need to discuss anything because I told him the price for everything. When he sent that my boyfriend walked in the room, so I didn't reply. It took me about 30 minutes to reply. I left my phone on vibrate, so I didn't notice that my phone had about 200 notifications from Snapchat. It was a mix of notifications of him typing and then sending me messages from asking why I'm not replying to a better reply or else. I eventually replied by telling him to calm down. I told him that I'll refund his money because I can't deal with somebody like him. He told me that he's already made up his mind. He's going to do what he has to do. Then he used my real name. I didn't use my real name on Tinder snapshot. I don't know how he got my info at that point. I blocked him on Snapchat and refunded him after that guy. I deleted my Tinder and Snapchat a week after that happened. I was at my boyfriend's house and he kept saying that he was getting notifications from his doorbell camera. He looked irritated. My boyfriend looked out of his front door, but he didn't see anything. And so we were watching a movie when all of a sudden, we heard footsteps on the backpacker. Boyfriend slowly got up and walked to the door. He keeps an air by the door, so he slowly picked it up, peeked out of his blinds, and then he looked at me. When he looked at me, he looked worried. Then he whispered to me, "There's a man crouched down slowly, walking toward the back door." Then my boyfriend put one hand on the doorknob, took a deep breath and opened the door as quick as he could. He yelled at the man, telling him to get down while pointing the weapon to him. The man hopped up very fast with his hands up. He kept saying that, "I'm sorry," over and over again. My boyfriend asked him who he was and where he came from. He gave him his name and he said he was there for me. That's when I stepped into the doorway. As I'm on the phone with the cops, the man had on a mask. My boyfriend told me to take it off. When he took it off, I recognized him. He was the guy from Tinder and Snapchat, kept yelling my name. But my boyfriend made him get on the stomach until the cops came. My boyfriend was confused, and I explained everything to him. He really didn't care until we actually looked at the doorbell camera footage. Now we knew why he kept getting notifications. That guy was in the front yard the whole time I was there. He followed me. He literally low-crawled from the front yard to the backyard. This is what was caught on camera. After that, my boyfriend decided to dump me because he said I was full of a drama. But anyways, ever since that day, I actually got rid of all social media. This happened to me not too long ago. I was walking home from work one night, going my usual route. I work nights about 5 days a week. Before I made it to my street, I had to walk 8 blocks and make a few turns. While I was making one of those turns, I saw a man sitting on a slide at a park that I had to pass. The part wasn't lit, so it was extra dark, but I could definitely see a random man on the slide. As I passed the park, the man stood up and he began to walk. I didn't think much about it, but I did think it was weird that he was sitting on a slide in the dark. As I passed the park and I made a left turn, I looked behind me and I saw the man cutting through the park in the direction that I was going, almost like he was cutting me off. But as I turned a corner, there's a wooded area and the man disappeared into the woods. About 2 minutes go by of me walking in on the left side, or the same side of the street as me on the sidewalk, was that same man. I didn't notice until we were about 15 feet away from each other because I was walking with my head down. I looked up in the property, stopped. This man was standing there looking at me, smirking at me. He asked everything. Okay, I said, yeah, you scared me. And you said, oh, my bad. I usually write you from the words. Over there, as he pointed into the woods. I stepped back, looked around, and ran across the street. I kept looking back. Ash just stood in that same spot, not moving anything but his head as he followed me. But now it was a huge smile on his face. He didn't follow me. But that's not where it ended. I told my mother and brother what happened, and my brother got in his car and went out to go look for the guy, but he didn't find him. After my brother came back, we all calmed down a bit, and I took a shower and went to be at Lisa. I woke up because I heard my name, but I looked over to my left and I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me because I just woke up. I laid there and I stared. I stared in the corner of my room, but what I thought I saw was creepy. I usually sleep with my phone right next to me in my bed, so I made slow and subtle movements. It can look like I was just moving in my sleep. Then I turned on Snapchat and I took a picture. I play with the filter so I can see the picture better, but then I realized someone was in my room watching me. I called my brother's name as loud as I could, and the person on my dresser got up and he jumped out of my window, which was wide open. I didn't leave it like that before. I went to sleep. Our house is 1 floor. By the way, as he jumped out of the window, my brother burst through my door, turning on the light. I told my brother that he jumped out the window. My brother followed. My mother came into the room with her gun, but it was too late. Eventually, my brother caught the guy, and I found out there was a guy that cut me off when I was walking home. We come to find out that the man was mentally challenged, but he told the police that he would watch me every day from the woods. And the day that he stopped me, he wanted to take me to his tent in the woods because we've built a relationship in his head that really creeped me out. But I feel sorry for the guy, but this is the picture that I took. Thank you. Music. He was sitting on my dresser above my mirror. I don't know how long he was sitting there, but it definitely creeped me out. My name is Matthew, and I'm 16 years old, and I'll be recounting an event that happened to me and a group of friends a while ago. I live in Perth, Western Australia, and due to construction happening in the area, there are some large construction sites, which is where this story will take place. This happened during the school holidays, and it was on a night that I decided to meet up with a few friends. I won't share their names for obvious reasons. I asked my friend if he wanted to come to my house tonight. He said sure. So I waited for him outside, and I met up with him. We went into my backyard for a while, and we stayed there, having an interest in urban exploration. I asked my friend if he wanted to go around to this construction site that was nearly finished, of some new house. He said, yeah, sure, let's go. I thought it was a good idea to go. This is where the story gets worse, but that's for later, so both my friend and I agreed to go to the construction site, walked out of my gate and onto a path leading to it, which was around the corner. When we get to the front of the construction site, we were both surprised of how modern and big it was. It was a typical two-story house with a garage pool and a patio. I recall walking him to the left side of the house where a narrow path was to get to the backyard. When we got to the backyard, we were looking around, and we saw the pool, a large patio, and a nice direct view of the city at nighttime. Anyways, we wanted to get inside the house. To be honest, we went in there to take photos and explore. We went to the backyard and tried a few of the doors that were there. Eventually, we found one that was surprisingly open, and we walked in. Both my friend and I were looking around. The interior of the house was large, and I remember a huge light. It was the size of a small person hanging from the roof. We decided to go upstairs. The stairs weren't placed yet. So all it was a guardrail with some timber and steel plates, all ascending to the second floor. We climb up and get to the second floor. That floor is absolutely massive to the left. You have a room that is a bathroom. It was connected to a bathroom, and it had a closet and a bedroom. When you leave the bathroom, there's a hallway, which leads down to the area that has an office room. In a balcony, we went back to the bathroom area and we turned the light on to have a better look around. The room, me and my friend had one last look, and then we left. When we got outside, we looked up and I asked my friend, did he turn the light off? He said no, and I went to accompany him while he did. This is where things start to frighten me as I'm waiting downstairs for him. All of a sudden, I hear this pounding and yelling it. We were looking around, and we saw the pool, a large patio, and a nice direct view of the city at nighttime. Anyways, we wanted to get inside the house. To be honest, we went in there to take photos and explore. We went to the backyard and tried a few of the doors that were there. Eventually, we found one that was surprisingly open, and we walked in. Both my friend and I were looking around. The interior of the house was large, and I remember a huge light. It was the size of a small person hanging from the roof. We decided to go upstairs. The stairs weren't placed yet, so all it was a guardrail with some timber and steel plates, all ascending to the second floor. We climb up and get to the second floor. That floor is absolutely massive to the left. You have a room that is a bathroom. It was connected to a bathroom and it had a closet and a bedroom. When you leave the bathroom, there's a hallway, which leads down to the area that has an office room. In a balcony, we went back to the bathroom area and we turned the light on to have a better look around the room. Me and my friend had one last look, and then we left. When we got outside, we looked up and I asked my friend, did he turn the light off? He said no, and I went to accompany him while he did. This is where things start to frighten me as I'm waiting downstairs for him. All of a sudden, I hear this pounding and yelling. It was someone yelling, "What are you doing?" I ran out, screaming and yelling so loud that my friend heard me, and he ran outside as we got onto the road. We hear a man yelling for us to get back. Here, we ran around the corner and hid in someone's bushes until he went away. My friend and I decided to go for a walk. As we were walking, our other friends called us, and we told them what happened. They were eager to come, check out the house too, till me and my friend we get home, and wait for the other two friends. Eventually, they came, and I told them all the events that happened, and my other friends were eager to go check out this house. So, in total, there were 4 of us. When we got to the house, we all decided to split in 2 groups. It was 2 of us going one way, and 2 of us going the other way. Pretty much me and my friend went inside to explore, and the other 2 stood outside, keeping watch. Both my friend and I enter. We both have our flashlights on. We're walking around the whole bottom floor to make sure there's no one in there. I recall walking toward the staircase with my other friend checking out the house. As I was walking, I stepped on a small rock and made a cracking sound as soon as that happened. Something absolutely terrifying happened, and that fueled my adrenaline at this point. This is where I started to record a short clip of what happened. Okay, there were either repeated knocks or someone pressing the door handle. 2 of the rooms on the door downstairs repeatedly. Both my friend and I, we were out of there so fast and shocked, and we were yelling and screaming. We eventually get outside and we tell our other friends what happened. They also asked what happened, and we said as we were exploring halfway in, we heard a few knocks or a rattle in the door handle. They were just as shocked as I was. I asked, "Who did the knocking?" They asked me. What I meant, they were in the front. Keeping watch, still to this day, this event scares me and has somewhat taught me a lesson. And that's not the trespass night here files.